What is up? We are back this week with Sling Blade, Roger's pick. Yes. Billy Bob Thornton.
Written,
directed, and acted.
Stars. Yeah.
Stars.
Yeah.
Budget for the film was $1 million, apparently.
Was that?
Is that what it is?
I looked it up. I couldn't resist it. I was like, "What was this budget of this film?"
Well, I do know that he made a short film called, they call it a Sling Blade. And I've watched that. I think it's 20 minutes long. And it's basically just the opening of the film where he's in the hospital, meets the girl in the interview, and that's it. I think that's all.
Just him talking about it?
Yeah. I think that's all the short film was. And then I guess they sold it to get this done. You know, a full-length feature-length film. So what did you guys think about Sling Blade?
I thought it was a good movie. It's one of those films that I don't, you don't come out of watching this film and being like, woohoo, or anything like that. So
I know. I'm wanting to go chop off some heads. And
I'm still reflecting on the movie, I'll say.
Okay. Well, I really enjoy it. I mean, being the fact that it's an actor that has written it and directed it, that's an amazing feat alone right there. And, few people have done that.
Yeah.
And continue to do it. But it's so much heart, and it's so down to earth. And that's what, he's an Arkansas boy, Billy Bob Thornton is, and that makes sense. It's a lot of him in that film. That's with a lot of actors, or not actors, a lot of screenwriters put themselves in their scripts. And like when Dwight Yoakam's talking about antique furniture making him sick, I know that's actually something that is Billy Bob Thornton. He hates antique furniture. Yeah, it's just a thing. Like me
and midgets.
And midgets, I guess. Like me and styrofoam.
That guy's not a bad guy, really.
Dwight Yoakam's character.
Dwight Yoakam's character. At the core of it, he just has problems.
Well,
he just has problems.
But regardless, he makes an unsafe home for Frank and his mother. He's not safe for him, and that's the thing. And I agree, though. That's what I was getting to as well, is that this is a character that he's still like a person,
Yeah, he's not.
And
He's not like person. In a lot. If he's gonna be the villain of the movie, he's not your standard like this is a bad guy. You feel like he's a bad guy, but he's not like your standard. He's a bad guy.
No, and there's points when I'm watching it because it's repeat viewings that I don't like identifying with the bastard. And when he's like dipping the salad, like he's doing a nice thing. He's dipping the salad for Frank, but
then he makes him have the dressing, he doesn't want it. I said, get dressing,
It's like, and then you can be like, oh fuck that dude.
Yeah.
But it's true, because that's how I felt. I'm like, he's not, he's a dick.
They have to get up in the middle of dinner and go get his guitar for him to play like this shitty music.
Have you ever been around men like that?
Yes.
And they exist. Yeah. And that's the thing. It comes across.
Don't give me a fork, okay, Dad.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he's a good bad guy. Dwight Yoakam is an amazing actor. He's amazing in this film.
I think all the characters, even the high school chicks doing the interview, even like the people that worked at the lawnmower business, even the guy that worked the counter at
that. Like his friend, I told you, the heavyset that owns that.
Yeah.
You can tell watching it that he's not.
He's not a professional seasoned actor.
But when I first watched it, I never had a problem with the guy. I believed that he was that guy. In real life, he sells mattresses, I think. It's a big inspiration, this film is. Like, the fact that he's like I said, that he's not just an actor. He wrote, directed it, and then he went, I don't know if he filmed back in Arkansas, I'm not sure. I'm not an expert on this film, I just really like the film. But, it's, my point is he brought in a friend to be in the movie, and it's just, like I said, it's an inspiration. Like Citizen Kane, Orson Welles, he wrote and directed that. What was he, 26 years old?
Wow. I didn't know how old he was. I knew he did it, but I didn't know how old he was.
I think he was 26, and that's just mind-blowing to me. He might be been younger, but and then Billy Bob to do this. I don't know how old he was either, but I thought what's appropriate there is that Robert Duvall plays his father, who played Boo Radley in To Kill a Mockingbird. And Boo Radley, I see a lot like Carl. He's the child outcast that, probably is he's a mockery of the town, that everybody makes fun of him, And I don't know if there's any reason why he picked Robert Duvall or not, but I just found that a little strange that the guy that played Boo Radley, who's a
That might be why.
famous character, you know, that's an outcast who's good at heart.
Besides, they both have the same hairline. Well, yeah, and you know he's not. You never get the feeling that Carl is harmless, and he never says he is.
No.
They always ask if you'll kill again, and he doesn't ever say, no, I will never kill again.
It's just,
he says, I don't reckon I have a reason to kill nobody. You know what I mean?
Because he had to have a reason. When he got the reason.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's telling the
you
truth.
can't answer that question.
No.
You can't answer that question
He's
because you
gonna
don't
kill
know.
anybody, right?
Not honestly, at least
No.
you can't. You know, and that's the thing. He answers it the best he can, and it's like when Doyle asked him something. Did you chop up your family with a hatchet? And he goes,
He's like,
I don't reckon I use no hatchet.
I don't reckon I've ever used a hatchet.
He didn't lie. He didn't lie. He
No,
told the
that's
truth.
the thing. He doesn't.
He told the truth.
He doesn't lie
He's
about
straight up about things.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably because the Bible says lying is wrong.
Perhaps.
You know,
I think the best part of the film was when he gave the speech to John Ritter. You know, at the end, at the end right there, he just gave the speech, and he just like, John Ritter didn't expect this guy to be anybody. He was scared of this guy, but then, oh, I gotta, get this guy some fried taters and mustard to calm him down.
I think it's interesting that the homosexual who ends up he's an outcast himself. He says he identifies.
Yeah, he does. He says
similar.
we're like the same.
Yeah,
we're the same.
He was still like standoffish immediately when he met him, but then he slowly came around and realized that they are very similar.
Yeah.
Whereas John Ritter's character as well is deep and emotional when he gets a couple glasses of
wine. I just love all of you.
I love everybody at this table.
She's got a bigger woman. She's got a cute face. I don't know if she's really retarded. She's maybe a little slow, but
you're going off though. You're like, man, this guy is gay, and I'm thinking, that's how I act after a couple glasses of wine. What an asshole!
Roger,
such an insensitive bastard.
Roger, we're just waiting, bro. We're just waiting. We're on the sidelines, just waiting to put you in the game.
What did you say? He's not just gay. He's super gay.
Yeah, he's not gay. He is super gay.
Threw the harmonica and it was coming at my face, and I just put my hand up and I caught it, because it was something metal. I was paying attention. And he wanted to go to the slut next to me. I mean, the woman next to me.
Please don't cut that out.
And I don't know how we're going to segue to this. But anyway.
Just a little snippet.
He called me out. Steven Tyler got the mic. He was like yelling at me on stage to get the woman the harmonica. And
Is that when he fell off stage and broke his hip?
I wish.
Don't worry, it happened.
He tripped over his lips.
Get back to the notes.
In the beginning, he comes in, he sets up this one light. It never really does it explain that anywhere else in the film?
He feels
more comfortable.
Yeah, because he's going to talk about something, and we don't know how long it's been since he's talked about it.
Have you noticed though, have you noticed though that had the spotlight? It was kind of like had that spotlight effect. It showed how repressed he was. I think that gave that feel of he's not open. He's not open to conversation. He's not really out there. Then when you see him pick that generator up and look, and he kind of gets a smile, that's when he opens up. I feel
what was with that?
I think he sees what a true father figure could be, and he hasn't really ever seen that before, experienced it,
and that's when he decides to go play football with
Carl. Or not Carl.
Frank,
yeah.
Well, yeah,
because he stands there with that big generator.
Yeah. He listens to him taking after his old man, playing football, going to be quarterback or whatever.
And he knows that Frank likes football.
Frank likes football and asks him to play, and he don't want to play really because he's no good or whatever. And that's when he decides for sure. That's the scene where he decides to go play with Frank. That's for sure.
And then here's the thing too is when Frank talks about his father, his memory of the drive to Memphis, that's a memory he's going to hold forever because he doesn't have that many. And here are these memories that Carl are giving him as well, when they play football or at the secret spot where he puts his arm around him and he grabs his arm. I mean that touches me. It gets to me.
Yeah, it's emotional. Yeah, it's definitely emotional.
I mean there's a lot of parts in the movie that get to me, but that one tonight, there was something about it. It was just immediately when Frank grabbed his hand.
When he grabbed his hand, it was just so innocent. He seemed so innocent in that scene.
Such a goddamn good actor.
Yeah,
he did well.
Yeah,
he went on to be in Tokyo
Drift. I was thinking that when I saw him, I was like, "You're the dude from Tokyo Drift."
His voice never changed.
His voice is still the same.
He's also in Jarhead, I think.
He's in Jarhead. He's in Tokyo Drift. He's in River of the Titans, I think.
Okay. He's just such a good actor. I mean, as a boy right there. I don't know. As he got older, I don't have an opinion. But
Tokyo Drift?
I never watched it.
Whatever.
I mean, I watched Jarhead, but all I remember Jarhead is Jake Gyllenhaal and Peter Sarsgaard.
I like Jarhead. I don't care what I have to say about that shit. Jarhead was awesome.
They started that scene out
I
though in
enjoyed
the
it.
beginning with the one hot light on him. Basically, you know, it's pretty intense. It is an isolating light. He does feel isolated there because everything's dark and it's just like this light coming onto him. And he starts telling the story. And he gets to a certain part of it, and all of a sudden his heart starts beating. Hear that heartbeat, you know, which I think
That's
is
when he starts getting nervous. He starts getting nervous.
He starts getting nervous,
And that's
right?
yeah.
And that's a theme throughout the film is that he's always nervous,
And
right?
so is Frank.
And so is Frank.
And he can
He's
relate
always
to that.
nervous, too. And he can
That's what we
definitely relate to
learn
that,
as an audience, that they can relate.
to each other very well.
And that's the thing too, is that I like that. It's like at the end when you said that he showed up at Bond's house, and there's just something about the connection that those two characters, the homosexual and the retard, have, which I know that's not PC.
That sounds really bad.
We're not really PC around here.
No,
What
we're not
are you
PC.
talking Well, that's your question. You didn't ask me if I killed him.
Yeah.
You just asked me if I chopped him up with a hatchet. I didn't do that, so technically I'm not lying to you. You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of the...
Yeah. But at the same time, he walks in with this hammer, and then you see Doyle, who's not afraid of nothing.
Like, what-
Freak
All of a
out.
sudden, he seems kind of nervous. Now, what do you think he was doing with that hammer?
Hmm.
And he's like, I just kind of woke up with it in my hand, you know?
Well,
He's
right,
just
because
like,
he was reading the book on
Yeah,
carpentry,
and
you know,
you
he's
know.
out now.
Do you think that's
Garage,
why
right?
Doyle was so calm when he came in there? Like, oh, he's not really going to do it. He's just
It's
bluffing with me.
possible. He had it, you know, he might not have really.
Or
I
maybe
don't
Doyle was
think- I don't
ready to
think-
die.
I don't think Doyle. Well, did Doyle ever know? Doyle never knew.
what he did.
No.
No.
Bond knows, I'm sure.
Gone
The
now.
mom knows and the son knows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I don't think Doyle
I
ever
don't think
finds
Doyle
out.
ever knew.
So yeah, he never would suspect that. And as far as he is concerned, he's a worthless retard. I mean, he's like, kicks him, get out of here, retard. I mean, he's just horrible to him.
Yeah,
He
is
doesn't give him
horrible
any
to him.
respect or any kind of.
But when you hear him at the end, and he's like, Carl, it's not like he's like, Carl, fuck, what are you doing, you know? He's just like, Carl, and then he's gone. He doesn't sound even like he's that afraid.
Well, he's been drinking for one. but
Yeah.
I
And he's
I
like, you
think
ought to
he
call
just-
an ambulance in a
think
hearse.
Chris really has it right, where he's just such a small, weak individual inside that
He's ready for it.
yeah,
He's like I've had to live this, and I can understand that feeling
He
of
knows
where
things
you
are
put this
up.
front
He
on,
knows nobody's around.
and he's self-medicating himself with all this alcohol and all this rage and everything. He's taking out on everybody that he knows can't hurt him, and he's finally met somebody that's not afraid of him. You know what I mean? He puts that fear in everybody. Even his friends
Well,
just put
that's
their
the
head down
thing,
and fucking
too.
leave.
Is that when he does,
Nobody stands up to him.
when he hits Frank and Carl grabs him,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and we know he's a strong fella, and you know that right there scares him. I think right
He's
there.
just like, oh,
Yeah. Tell him to never lay his hands on him again. What's the significance behind A Christmas Carol? You have a boy who's got a crutch. You know, it's a story about Scrooge and ghosts from the past. You know.
Also, you can look
It's
at
about
it.
doing right.
It's
no
about
matter what you've done in your past,
past,
you can do right.
you
in
can
the
do
future.
right
yeah,
in the
I get that
future,
from Charles
you know.
Dickens' Christmas Carol. Yeah, but yeah, they're clearly on different levels.
Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously. Obviously. But he did. You say, what's in the future for him? Whereas before, he would sit there and just listen and listen and listen and listen and endure and just sit there and watch. Now he's like, I'm not listening to you anymore. So he has had that personal growth to where now he can distinguish
And that's the
about
thing.
setting boundaries for himself. Where I think he was really messed up with doing
He never
that
spoke
before.
before.
No.
And as soon as he does start, I mean, that's what the guy's talking about when he gets back, the fact that he always sits there and listens, and then he
Yeah.
does speak.
He's like, I'm feeling generous today.
I'll let
Tell
you speak.
me your story from the outside.
Yeah,
you
because
know?
he was thinking he was going to get this really nasty story or good story to him about the little boy. Like, he thinks Carl killed the boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that guy was demented. I mean, talking about putting the cloth in her and a piece of duct tape across her mouth, and that was,
And he
man.
kept her for many days.
Yeah,
He's a messed up.
He's
dude.
messed up. He said it took a lot of nylon cord to get her away from him.
Can
You
I-
know, when he's talking about the guy who doesn't deserve what he has and stuff. Oh
Yeah.
man, that guy looks like a super.
Look at the weird correlation, though. You have a guy who seemingly on the outside looks normal, quote unquote, to society. Look at that guy, hear him talk, normal.
Yeah, right.
And then you have
Yeah, I
Carl
know.
over here
That guy
who
reminded me of
looks,
somebody I
who
know.
looks-
Kind of creepy. Yeah.
Carl's like
Retarded.
retarded and everything like that. But this guy who looks normal to society is demented and fucked up in the head and just crazy. And then Carl, who is an outcast in society because everybody's bigots for some reason. Who cares what you are? You know what I mean? As long as you're a good person.
Well, he did.
But he killed for. In the end, he baptized and washed himself of his sins and moved past that grief. To really, he knew he deserved to be in there. He knew he deserved to be in the rest of his life, but he wanted to do good before he went back in. And I feel he did good.
Well, I don't know if he believes he deserved to be there. I just don't believe he knows any other place, and he knows that
The world's too big.
Yeah, the world's too big for him.
I understand that. The world's pretty big. He knew that he did wrong, but now he knows he's doing right in his own mind.
Well, yeah.
That's the thing. He baptized himself for the wrongs that he did, but now he's going to make up for it and actually go away for doing something right.
Oh, and what's with the dad on Teen Wolf there? Wasn't he the dad on Teen Wolf? The doctor guy, what was his name?
Yeah, I was gonna ask at a certain point, but then I was like, yeah, that might detract from the movie.
It might,
So
but
I didn't ask, but yeah, I was trying to figure out what it was where I know him
think he's
from.
the dad in
He is.
Teen Wolf.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's where I know him from.
You gotta love Michael J. Fox.
I like Michael J. Fox. It's got a big sitcom coming
I
out.
grew up on Teen Wolf. I was obsessed with that movie.
Dude, that movie, I wanted to surf on the fucking top
Top
of
of
a
a
car,
car,
or a van so bad when I saw that movie. I was like, get me a van!
Yeah. I will say that this movie is like one uncomfortable scene
After another, dude.
I don't
all
know.
the pausing, all the
I'm trying to
pauses.
think if there is a comfortable scene in this movie. Is there
Well,
one
when he's sitting
comfortable scene?
around at their safe,
What
the
is it
secret
called
place,
out here?
the secret spot, I think those
Yeah.
are pretty comfortable moments, especially when the water at night.
The
when it's like-
rippling, the
yeah,
light,
the
that is
light.
So they're flicking
cast
off?
Yeah, they have
Yeah.
that cast.
I like that. I mean, the scene where John Ritter's sitting there explaining his homosexuality, that's awkward. Because
Oh, so
he got
awkward.
these like rednecks behind
Yeah,
him.
right
That's what
behind
he's
him.
talking
I was
about.
They're not
waiting.
even like laughing
Right.
or
I
smiling.
I thought it was great though. I thought it was great that they didn't say anything. That would have ruined that
They
whole
just
scene.
snickered.
They're just
They
like, oh,
had
yeah.
a snicker or something.
There's
we don't know if
some
it's about
snickers,
them
correct,
or we
yeah.
don't know
But
what
that's
it's about.
life, man.
Yeah, are
That's
they
the way
talking
it is.
about
It's
me?
like, but you just gotta be like,
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck what people
Yeah.
think, you know. So
Well, obviously he's in a small town and he does care what people think, but not enough that he can't be
he
himself at the
cares.
same
Yeah, he doesn't.
time.
He doesn't seem to appreciate the people spreading rumors about him in the funeral parlor.
No.
No.
Even though it's true.
Yeah.
It's totally
obviously.
true, yeah.
It's only it's like he's the only one. That seems
I
to
love
have
that
problems with it.
scene at the dinner table.
That was good.
I talk about how everybody
And
knows.
that's the thing.
Everybody
too.
talks about it.
Yeah. That is a great scene, like that woman to bringing her into the movie like that, and then I
You
don't
don't expect it. You don't expect it.
No, you don't expect.
She's a bigger girl, but she's cute in the face. I don't know if she's retarded, but she's a little bit slow.
And that's the thing too, is
So-
the fact that some people call him a retard right to his face in front of him.
Yeah.
In front of Carl, and then she's trying to talk around it, but she just straight up says it. She doesn't
She didn't know how else to say it, I guess.
say it.
But I think
Yeah.
if you look at Carl's reaction, he was very calm with it. Have you guys noticed
Well,
that?
he's used to it.
He has
Yeah.
total
And
acceptance of what
he
he
can tell,
is.
I think, just like where Frank at the end, when Carl's saying something, and Frank's like, I can tell you don't mean no harm by it, or that's the same way. Like Carl can tell his mom, the mom doesn't mean any harm by it. She's
Yeah.
trying to do something, and she's making them biscuits in
Yeah.
the middle of the night, which he really appreciates.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
even
Like,
mentions
that
it
was
as
not-
he's leaving. He's
Yeah, it
like,
wasn't
he
lost
mentions
on
that.
him.
No,
Yeah.
no. Nobody ever got up and made me biscuits in the middle of the night before,
Yeah, and that's you can take that easily for granted, but this character, he means that.
Well, dude, his own parents had him living in a hole in the back of the shed. For somebody to get up in the middle of the night and make him biscuits with mustard,
It's the world.
it would be like everything to that guy.
I mean, it's a.
It has one that I remember from the beginning when Carl's walking by and he looks to the side.
breaks
This is
the
the
fourth
first time,
Yeah.
and he does. It does
I
break the
wrote that
fourth
down.
wall.
I wrote.
It's the only time I think he looks at the camera.
Yeah, it is.
It's
He
the
looks right at
only
the
time,
audience.
and then it's one of the very few times when he actually looks at somebody. You feel like you're that somebody he's looking at or looking through. But I don't know. Maybe it's telling you from the beginning that he does see. He sees more than you think.
Realize.
Yeah, than you
It seems like
realize.
he's wandering around.
Yeah, he's just wandering around, but he sees right through you.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So, Sling Blade was the choice tonight.
Yeah.
I give it 2 gigantic thumbs up. At a scale from not good to masterpiece, you rate this film.
On Sling Blade, it's a
Say masterpiece. Dave?
I enjoyed the film.
Next week, Dave will not be here. For the next 2 weeks, Dave won't be
Sorry,
here.
folks, I won't be here for the next 2 weeks.
Next week, John Carter.
Man.
See y'all later.